This is what I'm going to be trying to color match today. It's not as intimidating as you may think, color matching, especially when you've had a little bit of practice trying it out for yourself. So here I'm just taking random colors of my basic palette, which is from top to bottom titanium white, cadmium red, cadmium lemon, French ultramarine or ultramarine blue, and burnt umber. And these are the only colors you're gonna need to paint pretty much any color that you're gonna find in nature or from your everyday life. Now, obviously, if you stumble across some very strong saturated colors, you're gonna need to buy specific colors for that and sort of add it into a mixture that you've gotten close enough with to the subject to enhance it to reach that color. But yeah, so here I am just taking various colors. I noticed that the mixture I currently have is very cool. I like to think in terms of cool and warm when I'm mixing color. And then I also like to think in terms of value, so light and dark. And then once you get those down, you can get really hone in on that color more. So that color right there is still really cool. So what I like to do is add a little bit more red and yellow to it. Orange gets it closer to the color of the peanut butter, because that color right there has a little bit of purple to it, a little bit of there's a little bit of blue to it, and orange is the complementary color of blue. So that'll sort of kill that coolness, and it'll get it closer to our final outcome that we want. In the beginning, I just use little bits of the color, try to get the color pretty exact first before I even think about, you know, making that spot of color huge, having a lot of paint in that color. I like to get, fairly accurate to the subject. In this case, I'm going to get like pinpoint accurate to the subject just to show you that it's possible. But yeah, once I get the general, color down, then I start to add a lot more paint, especially for this painting that I'm doing. So I'm still playing around with the red and yellow, trying to get my color to be warmer than it currently is. Still kind of bluish, but the little bits of red and yellow that I add more and more will get me to that color that I'm desiring. You know, actually, I don't really mix colors often with a palette knife. I usually just use whatever brush I'm using for that certain point in the painting, and I just mix the colors with that. But in this case, it's best to use a palette knife because I'm making so much paint and I'm trying to get accurate with the color. This just helps with that. So I'm getting closer to that color there. I've added a lot more uh, paint to the supply, I guess, is what I could call it. And there I go, adding more red and yellow. The color's still pretty cool for what I'm going for. So, and if you want to get your skills better, I recommend you try matching colors from a object that you have right in front of you. It'll just enhance your skills even faster than from like a stock photo or just a picture you find in images somewhere. Helps you train your eye. So I'm slowly building to that color that I need. I'm not really in a rush to, get to the color fast, especially since I'm making a lot of it. But let's say I was only needed a little bit of a certain color, I would try to get to that color as fast as possible. So I would not waste a lot of paint, get into a color just for like maybe a small area. So now that I'm got pretty close to my color, I'm starting to add a lot more white to the mixture. Like I said, I like to look at temperature, so how cool or warm first, and then I start worrying about value. And in this case, the saturation is, you know, naturally getting to where I needed to get to, so that just that's just the look of painting the subject that I'm painting. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. And by the way, if you guys are interested in finding out the process of the whole painting and seeing how the painting ended up turning out finished, you can check out my class that I've actually done on Skillshare about this in the link below. And I'll show you all about textures and mediums and how I got the paint eventually to get thick enough to look actually like peanut butter, and that marble actually to kind of look like marble at the end. So if you're interested in that, go check out that link. So now I'm trying to get real accurate. I'm pretty close to the color. So I just tested out next to the bread, and here it goes. You almost can't even notice that it's there.